What up, guys? The Bench Buddies are back, and we're doing our preseason top 25 for college football. In this video, you're going to see Ty do his individual preseason top 25. We know the week 0 has already been completed, but none of those teams really were a factor in this, so we decided to come out with it a little later than usual. But Ty, if you would like, take it away here.
All right, so we got the others receiving votes. These teams just missed my rankings, obviously. I think I had Oregon, BYU, Iowa, Iowa State, and Pitt. I think at least 3 of those teams are ranked in the AP poll. Oregon's number 11, severely overranked, but a lot of these teams lost something. Oregon lost their head coach, Mario Cristobal. Pitt lost Kenny Pickett. Iowa State lost a lot of talent from last year. And Iowa and BYU, they didn't lose a ton, but, they weren't like top 10 teams by any means at the end of last season. So still some work to do for those teams. I think Oregon and Pittsburgh have the highest ceilings out of these teams. Oregon, just because they have a lot of talent, they just lost their head coach. And Pitt, they're in an easy conference. So they have the potential to maybe go undefeated this season, sneak into the playoffs, similar to the chance they had last year. So I'd say those 2 have the highest ceiling out of these 5.
And then out of the teams that you don't have ranked at all, which team do you think, could make a surprise run? Not saying to the playoff or anything, but just kind of be a surprise ranking at the end of the year.
Well, if you asked me this question going into yesterday's games, I would have said Nebraska, but I'm going to go ahead and take that back. Obviously, it's not going to quite work out for them. Man, that's a tough question. I would say maybe Mississippi State, because I don't believe I have them in my top 25. I'd say it's Mike Leach. You never know.
That's a fair answer. So we'll start here with your 25th and then go 2-1. So we'll start there at 25 for you.
Yep, I got NC State. The AP poll, I think they have them 13. So I have them a lot lower. They haven't done a whole lot for me over the years. You never really see them like in a New Year's Six Bowl or anything like that. So I don't want to rank them too high before they got to prove it to me a little bit. I know they have Devin Leary coming back, their quarterback, but I got to see it to believe it with this team. And they have a pretty easy non-conference, so I guess we'll find out later on. But I have Houston at 24, really good season last year, and they have a chance to win that conference this year over Cincinnati. But it's hard to rank them any higher than that as a group of 5 teams, so I'll keep them there. And I got Tennessee. I'm drinking the Kool-Aid on Tennessee. I already failed with that with Nebraska, but I think Tennessee is going to be really improved this year. I think they made the right hire for their head coach finally, and they finally have some momentum going. So I have them ranked at 23. And we have Purdue in my rankings. The AP poll showing them no love, but they have a prolific offense this year and a really good quarterback in Aiden O'Connell. So I think this team could score a lot of points. And I don't know if they'll beat Penn State in their first game, but that'll be a really good game. And if they do, then watch out for them because they could definitely win the West. And Oklahoma is a team that I am not nearly as high on as most people. I think Lincoln Riley is a big loss. Venables is a great hire. He's going to be a great coach, but he doesn't have his players yet. He has Lincoln Riley's players. New quarterback, Dylan Gabriel. I don't know if he's consistent enough for them to be as high as people are ranking them. So I have him down a little bit at 21.
Mm-hmm. And then out of these 5, I'm assuming Oklahoma would be your team that probably has the greatest chance to make the playoff, I would assume.
Yeah, I would say definitely Oklahoma. If I had to pick another one, I'd say NC State. Purdue and Tennessee are probably better than NC State, but Purdue's not getting past Ohio State or Michigan, and Tennessee, they're not getting past Georgia or Alabama or Texas A&M. So I'd say NC State. And I got Cincinnati at number 20. You got to show them love, obviously, after making the playoff. Really great coach in Luke Fickell, but they lost a lot from last year, including Desmond Ridder. That's why they're not higher, but still a really good team. So, and at 19, I have USC. You're going to see in Zach's rankings, this is a big disagreement for us, but obviously Lincoln Riley, huge home run hire, and he brought over his quarterback, Caleb Williams. But we saw at times last year he was a little inconsistent. He ended up getting benched in another game. So, I'm just banking on him still being a little inconsistent. So I have them a lot lower than Zach does.
Mhm.
Kentucky here at 18. I think they'll be a pretty solid team, and they have a favorable schedule playing in the East in the SEC rather than the loaded West. So I think they could win maybe 10 games this year. Yeah, Oklahoma State here at 17. Lost their defensive coordinator. Still a really good defense. They returned a lot as far as I remember, but losing that coordinator was big for them. Otherwise, I'd probably have them in the top 10. But I still think they're going to be a really good team, and they'll compete to win the Big 12. And Ole Miss at 16. This team has a lot of momentum from last year. It's just the quarterback. That's the big question. They lost Matt Corral. They brought in Zach Calzada from Texas A&M, but I don't know if he's quite going to be the guy. We'll find out, but that's why I don't have them quite high enough. If he is the guy, then this is a top 10 team for sure because they have a really great offense.
And I think out of those five, I mean, you can make a case for at least three of those teams to be season-ending top 10 teams for sure. What do you think about that?
Yes, definitely USC and Ole Miss. I think they have the highest ceilings out of these teams. USC, I would give the edge to like as the playoff team out of these five because they could go undefeated this year if you look at their schedule. I believe they have Notre Dame at home, so a big chance there. And then the Pac-12, obviously, it's not the SEC or the Big Ten, so they have the best chance, I would say. All right, next five, we'll start with Wake Forest here at 15. Got some news, I think it was a week or two ago. Sam Hartman is missing a big chunk of the season, so that's a big loss for them. Otherwise, I mean, that's a really scary offense, but
Mhm.
that could trip them up a game or two before he comes back. So I got them back here at 15. Wisconsin's a team I'm pretty high on this year. Returning running back Jalen Berger, I think it was. That's big for them. If they can run the ball, they're always a scary team to face. So I have them up at 14. And then Penn State, another team not even ranked in the AP poll. I have them at 13. I really think they're going to bounce back this year. Still think Sean Clifford has some good football in him. So I have them up here at 13. And I'm hopping on the Texas train too. I'm hopping on the big brands this year. Got Texas here at number 12. Quinn Ewers, I don't really know what to expect out of him, but luckily they have another guy behind him who can fill in. So they have depth there. I think they made the right hire, like Tennessee, finally made the right hire at head coach. So I think this could be a year they start to turn it around. And then Arkansas is a team I'm really high on. They returned a lot from last year where they weren't expected to do anything and ended up having a great year. So
And out of those five,
I'm putting
obviously,
them at 11.
those are some, very good teams. At least four of those five teams are in some loaded conferences this year. Which one of those teams do you think has a legitimate shot to, come out on top of the conference?
Come out on top of the conference, I'd say Wake Forest. Just again, ACC is not quite as strong as the other conferences, but I think Texas has the highest ceiling and also the lowest floor out of these five teams. They could go, I don't know, 12-1 and make the playoff, or they could go 5-7 this year. You really never know with them.
We'll start here with your top 10. We'll start with
Yep.
first five.
Putting the bias aside in this one, I got Michigan State at number 10. Obviously, they lost their heart and soul, Kenneth Walker, but they got Jaden Reed back. That's huge for them. Peyton Thorne's a pretty solid quarterback, so I think that offense is going to be really good. The offensive line is an issue, and the secondary. If they can improve both of those things, which I think they will, that's why I'm in the top 10. And then Baylor at number 9, the defending Big 12 champion, I'm pretty sure. Yes, they are.
Mhm.
So I have them at number 9. They returned a lot and have a great coach. So I expect them to probably win the Big 12 again this year. And then Utah here at number 8. They're a really scary team. Tough matchup. They go to Florida this Saturday, so that'll be interesting. But I'm pretty high on them. Really good returning quarterback, Cameron Rising. I got Clemson at 7. I think they are number 4 in the AP, which I think you got to pump the brakes a little bit. This team could not
Mm.
score at all last year, so we got to see if they can improve their offense. But they still have an incredible defense, and obviously DJ is a great quarterback. So if they can block for him, which I think they'll be able to, they'll have a bounce back season. And then I have Notre Dame at number 6. Unfortunately for them, tough draw the first week. I don't think that's going to go very well for them, so they'll drop down. But they have a really solid team coming back this year, and I think they have the potential to beat Clemson when Clemson comes in there.
And then out of these 5 here, obviously there's some big games already in week 1 and in week 2 for some of these teams. Which one of these teams is probably most likely on upset alert for the first few weeks?
Well, I guess I'll just say it now. I think Utah is going down week 1. I think Florida at the Swamp, I think they take down Utah. So I'm putting them on big upset alert. And then obviously Michigan State is on a huge upset alert week 1 against my Western Michigan Broncos. Don't sleep on the Broncos. So both of those teams should be looking out. All right, top 5 here. We'll start with Texas A&M. I'm another team that could really fizzle out and go like 8-4. But they had the number 1 recruiting class by a lot actually last year. So you got to buy into that. And obviously they still had a pretty solid year last year, beating Alabama. So if they can continue that success and have their recruits make a big impact, they should be a top 5 team. And I have Michigan at number 4. This is the best wide receiver room in the country right here. A really great quarterback room. Top 3 offense in the country. It's just the defense that could potentially hold them back. They lost a lot there. So if they have a disappointing season, 9-3 or something like that, it'll be their defense that holds them back. I have Georgia at number 3. Not much to be said there. Defending national champions. Stetson Bennett left as the quarterback. I'm pretty sure he's gone. But obviously a ton of talent coming back. Really great head coach. So can't really put him any lower than number 3. And then I have to give props to Ohio State here at number 2. Jackson Smith and Jigba is the best wide receiver in the country, and I don't even think it's close. That's a scary guy to play against. So I have them at number 2. And I have Alabama at number 1. I mean, I don't really think you could put anyone else there. They have the Heisman Trophy winner coming back, a ton of talent coming back on offense. They have Will Anderson on defense. So they might have the 2 best players in the country on their team. So you have to put them at number 1.
And then obviously all 5 of these contenders are for the playoff, no doubt about it. But, it's tough when you have 3 from the same conference and 2 from the same conference. So obviously it's not going to shake up that way. But make sure you guys hit that subscribe button down below to be updated on all that college football stuff that we put out. Comment below what you guys think of Ty's preseason rankings, and then we'll be dropping mine as well shortly after. So make sure you guys see those. But until next time, the Bench Buddies are out.
She never called back.